I'm not feeling really well. Yeah, so
what else did you eat?
Well, I had a couple. I mean, you don't ever eat 3 or 4 Big Macs without having an Egg McMuffin and some fries. So I'm just not feeling real well, but I'm going to work through it.
Is that all you ate?
No, I had a taco, but I'm hungry.
Okay.
So hey, so we got Peter King here, and I hope I can make it through this.
Yeah.
But we got Peter King here, and it's fascinating. You know, in Congress, people will knock each other around. Peter King used to regularly insult me, and I'd insult him, but then we would never question anybody's motives. What I found so stunning with Anthony Weiner this past week, I know Anthony, I like him very well, served with him, same with Peter King. I said, you're not saying that Peter King put politics above the lives of 9/11 responders, are you? And in effect, he said, yes, I am. I gave him, remember I gave him several attempts to walk that back and say no, and he refused to do it. It was one of the more personal attacks I got to say I have seen in Congress.
Speaking from his heart, though, that's the way he felt. Well, I don't know if he meant to attack him.
Yeah. Well, we got Peter King here, and we're going to... No, of course he meant to attack him.
No.
If I ask Anthony Weiner if he thinks that Peter King is putting politics above the lives of 9/11 first responders, and he won't say yes, then, or he won't say no, then that is a very personal, I would dare say vicious attack.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
What if I told you that you were putting politics above the lives of 9/11 heroes? You wouldn't take that as a personal slight?
Anthony Weiner and the Democratic leadership sabotaged this bill. We had 255 votes for this bill. At the last minute, the Democrats said it required 290 or 2/3. They actually upped it. This was doomed to fail.
Congressman, how many Republicans were for that bill?
12. I'm not here to. This is not a game between Democrats.
No, I understand. Yeah. So, Congressman, one of Congressman Weiner's arguments is that you have a lot of throw weight on this issue with your fellow Republican congressman. He says you didn't do anything to lobby them. Is that true or not?
No, first of all, Anthony Weiner doesn't know because he never worked on this bill the way I did. Anthony Weiner, the first I really heard him get involved was on the House floor that night. He was involved in the vote in the committee, and I had sent my staff over to work with him to make sure he had the answers to the questions that were being raised by Republicans. I have been totally nonpartisan on this. This is not a game of how many Republican or Democratic votes. We worked on it all these years to get to 218. That's what you need to pass a bill. And the Democrats didn't look for Republican votes on health care or stimulus or cap and trade.
So just on the question, did you or did you not lobby Republican members or not?
Absolutely. And I had said throughout this, going back to 5 years ago, we will be lucky to get 24, 25 Republican votes. This is not supported by the Republican Party. I have broken with the party on this. This is not supported by the Republican Party. I have broken with the party on this. This is not supported by the Republican Party. I have broken with the party on this.
Peter, yes, let me get in here. This is stunning. So tell me whether I'm being too cynical here. You get 12 Republicans to vote for this bill, which will put it over the top. You'll get 218. You'll have a clean majority, and this will pass the House of Representatives.
Right. Actually, so Joe, we have 255 votes.
You get to, well, hold on a second, though. You get to 218, and you win, right? And it becomes a... Are you telling me that the Democrat, and I'm serious, I'm stunned that they would be this cynical, that the Democratic leadership changed the rules to make it a suspension bill so you would have to get 2/3 the votes so they would make the bill fail and then have an issue to run against you and the Republican Party? We would never question anybody's motives.
Joe, I think the reason they did it, I can't go into their minds.
They can pass this tomorrow.
Absolutely. They can pass it tomorrow. And I'm calling them right now.
My point is this. Anthony Weiner screams on the floor. He's shocked and stunned in the Republic. Nancy Pelosi could pass, if what you're saying is true,
it is true.
Nancy Pelosi could pass this bill today by bringing it up under regular order. This sounds like one of the sleaziest, most cynical operations, if true, to kill a bill that is going to help firefighters by simply changing the rules, by raising the bar so people can attack you and the Republican Party. Well, we would never question anybody's motives. What if I told you that you were putting politics above the lives of 9/11 heroes. You wouldn't take that as a personal slight?
I can tell you why I think they're doing it. Because they're afraid the Republicans will make a motion or offer an amendment which will say that illegal immigrants cannot take part in this plan. And the Hispanic caucus has come to Nancy Pelosi and Steny Hoyer and said that they would bolt if that happened. So rather than face a tough vote on this in election year, they are willing to let cops and firefighters die.
What if I told you that you were putting politics above the lives of 9/11 heroes? You wouldn't take that as a personal slight? Mike Barnicle, we talk about why Americans hate Congress.
That's
why Congress's approval rating's at 22%. And here we have Anthony Weiner, and I'm going to get Anthony back on, because I've got to say, I didn't have all the facts before. Here we have a bill that would help cops and firefighters that were on the front lines of 9/11. They had 200, for people that don't know, you get 218 votes, it passes. Now we find out that they had 255 votes to pass this bill, and Nancy Pelosi and I guess Anthony Weiner and everybody decided we're going to up it to make sure it fails so we don't show weaknesses in our own party.
But because there was an amendment to the bill that they didn't agree with.
No, but the thing is, you go ahead and put it up and vote. But see, what they wanted to do is they wanted to kill the bill so it wasn't the Hispanic caucus that voted against the bill in the Democratic Party and killed it. Mike, this is why Americans hate Congress. They've got enough votes to help cops and firefighters from 9/11, and yet they changed the rules to make sure the bill fails. We would never question anybody's motives. What if I told you that you were putting politics above the lives of 9/11 heroes? You wouldn't take that as a personal slight?
Joe, that gets to the core question, one that I have for you, Congressman. You're talking about 5 years working on the bill.
That's unbelievable.
Why 5 years for a bill like this? It seems to be an automatic. It would be an automatic to anyone out on the sidewalk. Why 5 years?
Mike, I agree with you. First, let me also say Carolyn Maloney and Jerry Nadler, who worked on the bill with me, were 100% honest throughout this. I'm exempting them for anything I say. They've been great on this. There's any number of reasons. First of all, I hate to say it, there's still a bias toward New York in some cases. Somehow, the further you get from Manhattan, the further you get from the New York area, this is not the issue it was on September 12th and September 13th of 2001. Secondly, some Republicans believe that it spends too much money, that it should be authorized every year. I don't accept any of that. That's why I disagree with Republicans. Also, a lot of Democrats and Republicans feel that in an election year, or any of the last election years, why be sending all this money to New York? How to explain that to their constituents? I think it's disgraceful on both sides, but that is part of the reality of being in Washington, and that's why it took so long to get it together. Also, we did have to fine-tune it a bit to find out exactly who was going to be covered, how you set up the standards, but it should not have taken 5 years. This should have been voted on 8 years ago, actually, for that matter.
This is a disgrace. We need to get Anthony Weiner back on.
Ask Anthony Weiner one question. Are you going to bring this up for a majority? I thought his conduct was disgraceful and shameful. This isn't about Anthony Weiner. It's about cops and firefighters who are dying every day.
I'll tell you what's wrong with what Anthony Weiner did. And I know Anthony's a friend of mine, but he said that you didn't lobby Republicans to get enough votes to pass this bill.
Congressman, how many Republicans were for that bill?
12. I stood up on the House floor and said Republicans are wrong. I voted for it. I strongly supported it.
And they are wrong on this.
I agree. And let the Democrats make a campaign issue of it. Don't let cops die.
I agree with you. We got the delay here, and I'm sorry, I agree with you. The Republicans are dead wrong on this, but I'll tell you what, the people that stood in the way of this passing on an up or down vote are dead wrong too, and it's cops and firefighters and our first responders in New York City who are suffering because of it. Mike Barnicle, it's disgraceful, isn't it?
One more disgraceful chapter in congressional history, and as you say, Joe, one more reason why people despise what's going on in Washington.
Nancy Pelosi changed the rules to kill the bill. I'm sorry. I think that is deeply offensive to a lot of New York heroes, a lot of cops and firefighters.
I think the whole thing's offensive.
And I think Peter King, and I feel badly about it. I bash Republicans when they deserve it, but I feel badly about Anthony Weiner coming on here and questioning Peter King's.
Okay, so you think Democrats were all wrong in this, and Republicans were all right in this, completely played straight, and wanted that thing done. Did everything they could
Mika,
to make sure it happened.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Well, because there is not.
Mika, I don't know how to respond to that when I just told you that the Republicans were wrong on this issue.
Okay.
So no, if I say the Republicans were all wrong on this issue, that obviously doesn't mean that I think the Republicans were right on this issue.
I think they both were pulling